Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bundesliga Show. We are here for some Thursday night predictions ahead of the Matchweek 10 of the Bundesliga. Joined this evening by Mark on the other end. How are you this evening?
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Looking forward to the last weekend of this block, isn't it, of the Bundesliga? Because then we've got the weekend after this is going to be the internationals as well. So it's quite a pivotal weekend. I think there's a lot of managers' jobs potentially on the line this weekend as well. And I think that makes it more exciting as well, because we all know that German teams like to change manager in these 2-week blocks, don't we? So I think there are probably 2 or 3 in my mind that could potentially be on the potential hook list, let's just say, with a bad result this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of big games, so looking forward to get stuck into it. Sorry we didn't promote this show today over socials. It's been a bit of a busy day for us, and me and Mark have been manically trying to find some time for us actually to do the show. So we're just happy to be doing it. So we'll spread the message therefore. And I'll be back in a few hours to do the VfB Stuttgart in Europe Matchweek 4 reaction with Travis around 10 p.m. UK time. So yeah, lots to come on the channel. And sorry, fantasy football as well. I know we've not been able to do it on a Thursday night for a while. Again, apologies, just because of our schedules not really lining up too well. Runa's a very busy guy as well, so we'll be back for fantasy tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. UK. We will get it done for you guys because we know how much fun we have with that show. So just wanted to highlight a few of those bits there. Because we need to be relatively quick this evening, we're going to try and run through everything in about 25 minutes, give or take. We're not going to do any admin. Just make sure you sub to the channel, help us keep on growing this great community of Bundesliga fanatics like myself and Mark and other like-minded people. So yeah, we'll just get stuck into it. Obviously, if you're watching live, great. If you're watching subsequently, let us know your thoughts as we work our way through. Friday night football, Mark, starts off with the 2 teams in green. So we've got Bremen versus Wolfsburg. I think this isn't a game that necessarily inspires everyone for a Friday night bit of football. With 2 teams not quite hitting their straps. I can't quite make heads or tails of either of them. I've had a little look at the stats and bits and bobs like that. The only thing I can pick out really is that Bremen have won their last 2 home games 1-0. So I'm going to go with that trend and just say 1-0. Wolfsburg look like a team that are in a real mess. Pokal upsets, lots of defeats. If you take out that very lucky Hamburg win, so I'm just going to stick with that trend and say 1-0 to the home side on this occasion.
Yeah, it's really a hard game to tip, to be honest. Werder have been the team that I've probably been getting wrong the most, actually, this season. I feel as though they keep getting these results, but they're really not playing well at all. In most of those 1-0s, they barely created anything really in those games, and it's been more just like moments of magic really that have given them the 3 points on those occasions. For Wolfsburg, I feel as though they were actually, last week was one of the better performances, if not their best performance of the season against Hoffenheim. Actually, I think Amura really looked at it last week. I think he was superb with the double, and he just looked a lot better. Obviously, they lost against away specialist Hoffenheim that particular day. It was always going to be a hard game, really, against a very good side, particularly away from home. So I've actually gone for a bit of a shock in this one. I mean, I tipped Union to win at Werder a few weeks ago, and I'm also going to go for Wolfsburg to do it. I feel as though Werder are going to get that kind of kick in the face result sooner rather than later, because they have been scraping by points and narrow wins at home. But I think they're going to get a 2-0 defeat here. Again, I did tip the Hamburg win, the Wolfsburg's win at Hamburg. I've got a feeling they might double up away from home here and get a kind of shock win, you would say, really.
Yeah, well, certainly Simonis needs it, doesn't he?
He does. He's probably one of the managers close to the chop, to be honest, at the minute.
He can't be far off at all. So I think, that's big ramifications at all for both sides. On Saturday, Leverkusen, Heidenheim, Leverkusen buzzing off the back of their Champions League exploits this week. Really important win for them. So they'll be feeling good. At home, obviously, against a Heidenheim side that they'll fancy their chances against, despite their, very plucky and decent form. Heidenheim with that 1-1 draw against Frankfurt. 2-2 draw with Bremen, but they have obviously ultimately not picked up many points with the loss to Hamburg and Hoffenheim as well. Can't see them going to Leverkusen and going away with much, sadly. So I will say, with Paddy Schick back scoring as well, makes me feel that Leverkusen will fill their boots to an extent. So I'll say 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, most people are going to be going for the home side here, and for good reason. I think Heidenheim have performed better than what perhaps the points total suggests. I think they were good again last week against, Frankfurt, and they did have the ball in the back of the net late on. It looked like they got a winner, but obviously it was clearly offside. But I think that sums up their season. A few decisions haven't quite gone their way at times, but they played, I think, better than last season, in my opinion. I think they've actually been better, but it's a slightly stronger league this year, especially with the teams at the bottom. There's not as many kind of winnable games for those lower teams this year. So, I agree on Leverkusen. I mean, Leverkusen keep going, don't they? I mean, the very best teams, they can't compete with them, your Bayerns, your PSGs, but they win most of the other games, let's be honest. And I've gone for another win here. I think a 4-1 Leverkusen win here for me.
Yeah, very fair. Union Berlin versus Bayern, the juggernauts that keeps on winning. We're able to watch that, the clash of the Titans midweek, Bayern PSG, a game that lived up to the billing, I think. Certainly, it was obviously a very different game because of that red card, wasn't it? Aside from that, Bayern would rightly dominant in that first half and were excellent. And I think that really hammered home their level in Europe right now and their status in Europe. By all means, Union Berlin are not the funnest team to play, especially at home. They'll be resolute. They'll play a certain way and wait for their opportunities. They're in decent nick. Obviously, there's that 0-0 draw with Freiburg at the weekend, which we didn't learn too much from in terms of the set pieces. Was really important. But yeah, beating Bielefeld in the Pokal, wins against Gladbach recently as well. So I still can't tip anything more than a Bayern win, which I'm going to tip. So I will say. I'd be interested to see what team Bayern put out, but regardless of the team, I don't see it being anything but a win. 2-0. Yeah, I'll go 2-0.
Yeah, I think, as you say, it was quite clear that Bayern prioritised the PSG game over anything, basically. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a few potential rotations here as well, considering how well they're going in the league. And obviously, things are just going brilliantly across the board for Bayern, aren't they? Many people now are saying they are the best team in Europe as things stand. They look well ready to qualify to win the Champions League, really. And the Bundesliga, I mean, most people have already got it as a foregone conclusion, really. But let's be honest, they are still only 5 points clear of Leipzig. Leipzig are playing well, so they've got to keep their eyes a little bit peeled at the minute. But I feel as though, Union, it's hard to see them really creating enough. They are very set piece heavy at the moment, particularly at home. I feel as though away from home, they do quite well on the break with that, Illich and Burke and Anza. But Anza's gone a little bit quiet in the last 2-3 games, unfortunately.
He's missed a few chances, yeah.
He has. I think Union's defence is very good with the likes of Leiter and obviously Dookie, who's been getting a lot of plaudits this season. But even if Bayern do bring in the likes of Leonard Karl, Tom Bischoff, I mean, they're not exactly on bad form, are they? I mean, it's just an absolute stellar roster at the minute from them. And I totally agree with you, Rory. I don't think they'll batter Union. I think Union might even be able to keep it to 0-0 at half time, but I think eventually Bayern the record Meister, the record breakers, will get yet another win on the tally with a 2-0 away win here.
Yeah, precisely. I'm in line. Yeah, with you there. Evening to DM. Thank you for checking in. Hope you're enjoying the show with us. Next up is the aforementioned RB Leipzig. They have got a tricky tie against TSG Hoffenheim, Mark, albeit we know that Hoffenheim are very much more comfortable on the road rather than playing at home in Sinsheim. You can lead off on the next few games. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good game again. This one on paper, it's two formed teams. Ultimately, obviously, Hoffenheim have breezed through they won the last 3 league games now and are really starting to put the points on the tally that, a lot of people thought they would do at the start of the season. But as you say, 13 of those 16 have been away from home. And the solitary 3 points they've had at home have been against Heidenheim, which is a game, which you very much expect them to win, which they did. But against the better teams, the likes of Frankfurt, Bayern, even Koeln, they have lost these games at home. So all eyes point towards another Leipzig win here. I mean, they're just living the dream. No European football. They can just relax when everyone else is like grinding away in European matches. And Ole Werner is just so comfortable there. It looks like a really good match. And he's found his 11 now out of that massive squad. He's found an 11, led by Diamande, who's been absolutely superb. Romelu is just brilliant as well. The whole team is playing well. So I've gone for them to get another win, a 3-1 away win in Sinsheim.
That's a pretty good call, to be fair. I'd like this game to be as entertaining as it should be, which I'm hoping it will be. If Hoffenheim have a good old crack, I think it could open up the game to be quite exciting. The attacking talent that we'll have on display for both teams really gives promise for it to be an interesting game. So I will line up with you there. I think that's a good shout. I'll say I'll agree and say 3-1. Next up, we have Val versus BVB, Mark. So run us through this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is one that's going to really get the kind of traditional fans of German football excited, isn't it? It's two Traditionvereins, very big, famous clubs from Germany. It is the first league meeting in 8 years between these two decorated giants as well. Two of the most successful teams in German football history as well. And it is going to be a hell of an occasion. It really is. I mean, the atmosphere there will be electric. Obviously, Dortmund have done a lot of traveling recently, haven't they? They were at Augsburg, where Peter and I obviously saw the game last Friday. Then they were off in Manchester as well, where Paul actually saw the game against City. And now they're obviously off to Hamburg. So they're going to be a little bit jet lagged, perhaps, from too many long journeys, I think, there. Well, obviously not really long, but still it's a lot of travel ultimately.
Yes.
As for the game, I think Dortmund, they didn't play terribly against City. I think they just ran into a very good City side. City were excellent last night, I've got to be honest. I mean, they were brilliant, really. Some of the goals were just brilliant. But I think Dortmund weren't terrible in a 4-1 defeat, to be honest. I think they played better in that game than they did against Augsburg when they won 1-0 on a Friday night. For me, I could see it being more like the Augsburg game, this one, though. I think Dortmund in the league, they just keep grinding out wins, don't they, under Kovac? I still feel as though they produce the best football in the Champions League, but they have been winning a lot of games under Kovac in the league as well. So I've actually gone for a 2-1 here to the BVB. I could see Hamburg causing them more problems than Augsburg did, but I think they'll still get a win, as they often do under Kovac. So I've gone for a 2-1 here.
2-1's fair. I think talking of 4-1 losses, again, it's a strange thing to say with Hamburg. We talked about the game in detail on Monday night, didn't we, against Koeln, that 4-1 loss, and, some of those 50-50 decisions that could have gone their way. Obviously, they need to up their levels to get anything from this game. But I think they should find encouragement in the way that they have settled into the league. They've won 2 of their last 3 home games, and obviously that game was the 1-0 loss to Wolfsburg, which they never should have lost. So that will give them confidence as well. But can't tip an upset, and we've not had many that we've called so far this evening. So I will say 2-0 to Dortmund. It's not often I call them to get a clean sheet, but I will on this occasion. Moving on to the Topspiel, talking of tradition, Mark, we've got a great fixture for the Topspiel. The Rhine Derby, Borussia Mönchengladbach versus FC Köln. This game is decorated in history and tradition. Really looking forward to this from a game point of view, but this will get the taste buds for everyone across the Bundesrepublik really salivating, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the kind of big fixtures, isn't it? The Rhine Derby. It's an absolutely huge game. Two of, again, Germany's most decorated clubs in history as well. It's brilliant. We seem to have had so many good fixtures this season, don't we? I think, Köln and Hamburg coming back in the division has absolutely improved, really created a lot of massive fixtures. The City Derby between Pauli and Hamburg we've already had.
Yep.
Then, obviously this Rhine Derby and so many other big fixtures caused on the back of these two clubs being back where they belong, really, in the Bundesliga. And this is going to be another brilliant tie. I mean, we've seen a lot of classics in this tie over the years, haven't we? We've been covering this show. Obviously, we missed this fixture massively last season when, obviously, we couldn't cover it. Well, it didn't exist, basically, because we were in different divisions. But very much looking forward to this one being back. Glad to see it's a Topspiel as well. It definitely deserves that billing. And let's be honest, both teams come into the game on form as well. Gladbach, really, really good last week, beating Pauli 4-0 on their own patch. Obviously, they won the game before that against Karlsruhe as well in the Cup. So technically, so they are on a bit of form. Köln are on better form, though, for me. I mean, Köln, are just playing so well at the minute. And they've not lost, I think they've only lost, 2-3 games in the Bundesliga so far. Obviously, Almala is going to be injured, unfortunately, for the game, I believe. So that could be a negative. But I still believe there's enough quality in this Köln to go there and win. I was tempted to go for a draw in this one, but I just think the way things are going for the FC at the minute, they are going to get the win. I think, they've just been finding ways to win games. And they played some games that have been just brilliant attacking play. The likes of Thielmann, just so good, really. Bulter has been good. Ake also got his first goal last week as well, let's not forget. So I've gone for a 2-1 away win here. It's a big call because I think Gladbach are improving, but I feel as though Köln will really, the pressure's off them a little bit, to be honest, because, they've already massively exceeded expectations this season, and they're probably not going to even filter into the relegation race. So they can go and enjoy this one. There's more pressure on Gladbach because a Gladbach win would really start to rebuild their season, I feel, in this one. If they can get 3 straight wins, one against their arch rivals. But I've gone for Köln to do it this time for 2-1.
Yeah, interesting thoughts. And DM asks, have Gladbach finally turned the corner with last week's win? It's something that I think we kind of half posed or the question to ourselves on Monday's show when obviously we did the Gladbach Pauli game. I think that was the first game that we talked about, which was rightly so. It felt like a big point, and any first win of the season always feels big, but that obviously just came with such a big performance. It felt very standout like, not like a 1-0 scrappy win. So that was something to take on board. I feel I really want this game to deliver, and I'm going to call something ridiculous and hope it happens. I'm going to sit on the fence, but I'll say 3-3. I think it could be a great game of end-to-end football. Like you say, I think Thielmann's a doubt as well, so it'd be a shame if we didn't have the likes of Thielmann and Elmala available for this game. I think Elmala's been called up for the German national squad, hasn't he?
He has, but I think there were rumours about an injury going on. But I think it still wasn't completely confirmed, but it's definitely been hyped in recent days. I think for whatever reason, I think Kwasniok he's literally wrapping Mala in cotton wool, isn't he, really? He obviously sees a hell of a player like everyone does, but he just doesn't want to burn him out too early. So it could be just a precaution, but I did read something about that it was potentially carrying a knock going into the game.
Well, we'll see, but yeah, obviously very much looking forward to it, and hopefully both teams are at as full strength as they can be. Obviously, still no Kleindienst for Gladbach, I believe. I think he's still a couple of weeks off. I think maybe after the international break, they'll be looking to start to filter him back into things. On to Sunday then, nice and quickly. We've got SC Freiburg taking on very out of nick St. Pauli. This, again, the steady eddies of the league. The Europa League specialists, Mark, they've just gone and won again in Europa. Great win in France, 3-1 against Nice. How about that? That's a really impressive result. Goals for Grifo, Mazambi, and Shahant, who's starting to settle in quite nicely. I think they'll be strong, and often we always say about Freiburg, they beat the teams that they should do, and that's why they often end up in the likes of the Europa or Conference League. I'll say the same again. I obviously, with a bit of travel ensued, I don't think they'll necessarily be at their best. But I'll say 2-1 home win. Pauli is still struggling to score goals, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a much bigger game for Pauli, this one, as you say. I mean, Freiburg really are European experts this season. They've only won 2 out of 9 in the league, but, I mean, Pauli just can't score goals, and really 6 straight defeats now, and this doesn't look like the easiest fixture to avoid a 7th, but they kind of they just need a scrappy point here, Pauli. So I was tempted to go for a 1-1 draw here, just because I think it's a bigger game for Pauli, but having watched them live the other week, it's just not working up front right now for them at all. So I've gone for a 1-0 Freiburg here. I think, as you say, Rory, they do tend to win these games, but I don't think it was really Freiburg's priority. I think they're going for the Europa League, but they will still get a win, but it'll probably be a bit of a scrappy one, this, I think. But a 1-0 Freiburg win.
Yeah, that's fair. Next on Sunday, Clash of the Titans, technically, is obviously my boys go up against your Bundesliga proclaimed side, at least. Stuttgart are at home to FC Augsburg. Obviously, Stuttgart are playing in a few minutes, which I'll be going off to watch very shortly. Looking forward to that. So they've obviously got that kind of, to back up with. Augsburg are, in a right old ruddy mess at the moment, despite, only narrowly losing to Dortmund. It was far from inspirational. And I know you watched the game, Mark, so you have a very clear viewpoint on that. Depending on the way that Stuttgart played tonight will very much change my opinion on how I see Sunday going. But losing 3-1 to Leipzig didn't feel disastrous to me. And it's 3-1 because Nubel makes a howler right at the end. So really it should be 2-1. Gives me enough confidence to say I think it would be positive. Stuttgart, I can't see Stuttgart losing. Famous last words. I will say a 2-1 home win.
Yeah, I mean, FCA are in a similar boat to Pauli at the moment, just plummeting down the table, not playing well, not looking good. So, I think Stuttgart have turned into a team this season where we're not seeing the fireworks really of the past 2 seasons. But I feel as though defensively they're looking solid. I think Jaquez deserves credit as well for the way he's come into the side and done better. He got a good assist. Was it 2 weeks ago against Mainz? I think it was. Oh no, it was last week. Was it No, it was last week. Sorry, against
he got the one
against Leipzig. Yeah, he got the Leipzig goal. Yeah. So, he's looking good. I agree with you, Rory. I think they just came up against a good Leipzig side, and they were in the game for most of it, really. So, they will win this game, and quite comfortably for me. Augsburg are another side that just have nothing up front at the moment. So, I think a 2-0 home win here for me.
Okie doke. Last but not least, we have Frankfurt taking on Mainz 05, who got a last-minute winner tonight, which is another awesome result for the Bundesrepublik. A Jae Sang Lee 90 plus 5 minute goal. Fantastic win against Fiorentina. Makes them 3 from 3 in the Conference League. How their fortunes are very different domestically, though, and why this game is a big game for them. Frankfurt, they got a good point against Napoli in Italy, in Naples. Great point on the road. That I think you have to give them credit. But they're kind of going down a bit of a bumpy road right now, Frankfurt. So I think they need this game to try and turn things around a bit. Obviously, they've got the extra. When did they play? Tuesday or yesterday? Either way around, they've got at least 1 day's extra rest in that sense. Although Mainz don't have to travel or didn't have to travel. It'll be close, but I will say... I'm going to sit on the fence. 2-2.
Wow, big tip. Yeah. You've been convinced by Mainz the whole season, haven't you? You're still waiting for them to really kick.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, that was an amazing win for them today. To come back from behind, and they went strong again. They're really going for the Conference League, and why not? They should get through in that top 8 now. They've cleared probably the hardest fixture that they're going to have. So why not go for it? Maybe another couple of wins, because it's only 6 games, that group, isn't it? So, yeah, for me, but I'm not quite. I don't know what's happening to them in the Bundesliga. Something just doesn't convince me at the minute. And I agree with you, Roy. I don't think they're a bad team by any means, but they're not getting results. That is the fact of the matter at the moment.
Yep.
And they probably should have beaten Bremen, but they shipped late on, and they could have even lost that in the dying minutes there as well. So they're not finishing games well. They're not scoring the goals that they should with the quality they have in that side. So, yeah, I think a 2-1 Frankfurt win here. I think Frankfurt will get over the line. They're a strong home team. But, yeah, for Mainz, it's a bigger game for Mainz, really, because they really need to get back on the winning road, because it's not working for them at the minute. And, yeah, they can't only rely on Europe, ultimately, I don't think.
Yeah. Very much agree. And that's all our games. That's all she wrote. So, thank you to everyone that's watched along with us. Been great to have your company, and I hope you look forward to match week 10 of the Bundesliga. We're darting off to do different things right now. I'm going to go watch the Stuttgart game. Mark's got to run to the train station. So, Mark, do you want to close up tonight's show?
Yeah, so if you enjoy what you saw, don't forget we're not only a YouTube channel, we're also a podcast as well. So check us out on Spotify and Apple. And also don't forget we're on different social medias too, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. So give us a follow over there as well. So thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure. And Rory will see you in just a few hours, actually, in just 2 hours or so from now after the Stuttgart game. So auf geht's VfB, and let's hope another good result for the Bundesliga, what's been a great week so far anyway. So, yeah, have a good time, guys. Enjoy the game, and Rory, and we'll see you later. So, ciao. See you then.
Cheers, guys.